today we're going to be talking about choosing a strategic line and how do you choose a strategic line in a debate and what are the consequences of the choices that you're going to make and what you have to do to keep that clean and consistent throughout. So basically we're discussing hard and soft lines, and what does that mean? So a hard and a soft line can mean two things. It can mean the extent to which you are willing to defend a change or to make a change in society, or the extent to which you're willing to defend a principle in that debate. So if you're going to make a large change to status quo that is incorporative of a large number of people or examples or instances, that would be a hard line. If you want to make a very small and marginal change to status quo, that would be considered a soft line. And in terms of principle, the extent to which you're willing to defend that principle would be either hard or soft. But this will make more sense when we do more examples. So the important thing about hard and soft lines is to be aware of the strategic implications of the line you are choosing, and secondly, if you're on the opposition side, how to exploit the weaknesses of particular lines in terms of rebuttal and responses when another team chooses a hard or soft line in that debate. Cool, so let's do an example to really bring this idea home. The first example is this house supports euthanasia. Now, a hard line in this debate would, for example, to say anyone who is sick, regardless of if they are rational, regardless of if they have a long-term illness or a life-threatening illness, can opt into euthanasia. That would be a hard line. It's a hard line because it's quite broad. It incorporates a large number of groups in that particular change. A soft line, on the other hand, would be to be like, no, it's only for those who are extremely sick, people who have terminal illnesses. A doctor needs to evaluate them and check their mental status before they're allowed to engage in euthanasia, and they need to have counseling from a social worker or someone like that to make sure that they actually want to engage in this activity, and the illness has to really hamper on the ability to live and on the ability to exist in that society. So that's going to be a very soft line because you are decreasing the scope of that debate. You're narrowing it down to a very specific group of people. A moderate line in that debate would be to say that you would allow euthanasia if it hampers quality of life to some extent. It doesn't have to be a terminal illness, but there must be some kind of deterioration in terms of a person's quality and standard of life. And there must be a consultation with a doctor where their rationality and their state of mind is checked and is looked at. So that's a more moderate line from the soft line, but not as extreme as the hard line we first spoke about. So what does it mean? What are the implications of each of these different lines? A hard line usually means that you have to defend a number of practical considerations that could come up. So you run the risk of having to defend very risky harm. So for example, would you allow somebody who's 18 years old and has been diagnosed with TB and is currently in pain to engage in euthanasia? Your side would have to defend that reality in order to run that line and to be principally consistent. The problem with a soft line, on the other hand, is that you run the risk of being principally inconsistent. So, for example, the principle you're going to use to defend euthanasia is the idea that people should be able to opt out of life because life isn't something that we choose, and therefore opting out of life should be something that is given to everyone freely. It's very hard to argue why that should only exist to those who are extremely sick and not somebody who is like in a lot of pain but doesn't have a terminal illness. So when you are choosing a soft line, you have to be very careful of not being principally inconsistent. The best approach probably would be to go for a more moderate line, but this is very debate dependent because sometimes it is necessary to take a hard line, sometimes it is necessary to take a soft line. The important thing is to realize what you have to concede and defend with whichever line you are taking, and to already in your preparation come up with arguments to defend the harms of whichever line you're taking in that debate. A second example would be this house opposes organized religion. And a hard line in that debate would be to say that you oppose all forms of religion, even if it's not organized. A soft line would be to say that you oppose like very pedantic religions that have extreme doctrine and people have to do extreme things to belong to that religion. Once again, the hard line is broad and incorporates a large number of examples and scenarios, and the soft line limits the debate and narrows the scope of that particular debate. Once again, you have to be aware of the implications of the line you are choosing. So the hard line in this debate means that you have to come up with a lot more arguments about why all religion in itself is bad. But when you pick this line, be very careful to not have a broad debate about just religion, but to also be specific about organized religion, because that's what the debate requires of you to do, to talk specifically about organized religion. And even though you are allowed to broaden that scope, be careful that you aren't broadening it too far, that you forget to actually talk about the aspect the debate is requiring you to talk about. With the soft line, once again, be careful of being principally inconsistent. So why is it only for very pedantic organized sects? Why is it not for other forms of organization if the problem is with how people view their religious beliefs in some way? So be very careful of either line and the implications of either line in that instance. Okay, so that's all on hard and soft lines. This video is mostly to conscientize you to the fact that you do have to pick a strategic line in debate, and that decision is to be a conscious decision. It has to be defended throughout the debate, and you have to be aware of the implications of choosing one and not the other. Thank you very much.